Is that how you usually do it? We just crash the plane into the ground.
And that's how we do it, Jim. Right there.
That's the ending is you just crash the plane into the ground, show over, throw the mic down, and walk
See
out.
if there's anything left next week.
See if they invite us back tomorrow.
Welcome to the 17th segment, an official podcast of Good Morning BT.
All right, third time's the charm.
Let's do it, baby! Oh.
Where have you been, Beth?
That's how these things start now.
We've done this 3 times now. We're off and running. It's the 17th segment. Bo and Beth here. Happy to be back. And we're back for another time because apparently the people want it.
Yep. And we're so excited that you do. We hope that you listen to Good Morning BT on either 1110 AM, 99.3 FM, or WBT.com. But we really, really hope that you start listening to this too and downloading, because this is where we get to tell you everything else that was going on in our studio, how interviews happen, how things happen, how stories come to be, and how we end up going off the rails some
Well, you
days.
know, when I've told people that we're doing the podcast, most of the time their answer is, okay, that's cool. That's fine. It's another podcast. But then you say, oh, it's got video to it. And it's like, oh, that's something different.
We get to see you.
So we see you for the first time. And if you're listening on Spotify or on Apple or on BT.com, wherever you get us, please know that you can actually see it too. So there's that aspect. That may actually drive you back to the podcast. I don't know. But we have moving pictures now.
And we know that you love our basement set and the fact that we don't have microphone stands. So we decided just to hold them kind of Bob Barker style. Although, wouldn't it be so cool if we had Bob Barker microphones?
Let me clarify.
It's funny you should say that.
We have microphone stands.
I brought one in. I found in my garage.
Yeah, and when we recorded the quote-unquote pilot episode, we only had one.
That will remain in her garage.
But
It was a good pilot.
it got to the point where Bo was like, I don't want a microphone stand. I'll just go ahead and hold the mic. Let's just hold the mic. So that now it's kind of become the thing. We have microphone stands. I can put them out there for you.
Well, I would be like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights. If I had a microphone stand, I would be like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, what do I-
Well, wait, we actually have 3 microphones today.
Which we may have a surprise guest on today's podcast with behind the scenes stories, because we talked on the air this week about the stories of how I met my co-host, how we all met each other, because we met each other at different times in our lives that had. Oh, are you calling it?
You know,
This is how
I actually have a
high-tech we
connection
are.
over here, Bo.
Jimbo,
Yeah.
come on back, my friend. This is how we do things on this show.
Does he even know where to
He's a
go?
little Marco Polo. I don't know where I'm going here.
Marco.
Hey, Jim.
Marco!
I'm in the
Oh,
Open the door.
sales pit looking at
he honestly doesn't know where we are
Oh my
because
God. All right, hang on.
He's coming.
we're in a closet.
We're in the connector room.
on air.
There it is. I
We're
hear
on
his
the air,
voice.
yeah.
Look who it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is technology at its finest.
Here he goes, still with us. Get in here.
Great to see you guys. How have
Hey,
you been?
it's been so long.
God, it's so great to see you.
Oh,
my God.
This is how we have guests
I
on
was
the...
outside. I didn't even know where I was going. This
got
is
his-
fantastic.
he's got his sunglasses on.
He's going to be up.
King Jim.
It's what do you want for Christmas?
He's up way higher. For people who are just listening to this podcast, his chair
It's King Jim.
is way higher than the rest of our
You
chairs.
got to stop. Now look, we talked...
Can we go get an office chair? This is dumb. I'm not sitting like this for an hour. Hang on, we'll go get
All
a
right,
chair.
hang on. Wait, no,
I'll
I
be
got
right
you,
back.
Jim. Hang on, I got
You
it.
look so cute.
I literally have a cramp from laughing.
We
10 seconds in.
we have been laughing like this all day today. We had was it today? We gave away Beach Boy tickets for this weekend. We've been doing this contest all week, and Bo was trying to find something on his computer. I could always tell.
When he comes back, I'm going to be up here.
Oh, this is perfect.
I'm just kidding.
I love that this is happening live on the air. So now we're gonna change the chair out for Jim Szoke. So it doesn't look like.
Oh, you always hit the light.
You know, but one day we're gonna have to have our producer George Hazlitt really do sit up there because it will be like Santa talking.
Yeah, it
to
would be
kids.
like Santa asked. Oh, now you're gonna be lower than we
I
are.
think it's the same. I wasn't going to do an hour of that. Oh, you guys.
Oh, look at this.
That's great. I do think of myself as being high and mighty, but
Hey there,
that
little
was a
fella.
lot. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
I have to tell y'all,
like
totally
Lilliputians.
behind the scenes, I've been battling for 3 days now. I had my voice. I lost my voice over the weekend, and now anytime I laugh, it like sends me into a coughing fit.
He's a chain smoker, and he doesn't talk about. He's not really a chain
right.
smoker, but it does sound like he has a smoker's cough.
Unfiltered.
Turned into Grady Cole. He's got a bottle of bourbon in his desk and
right.
a pack of cigarettes.
So look,
He needs his cigarettes.
see, this is what happens.
Now the non-filtered Camel's on the bottom.
Now, this is what.
Oh, my goodness.
This is exactly what our commercial breaks. Well, actually, our whole segment, our whole show is actually kind of like this. But we were trying to. Today, we were laughing the whole commercial break because I was trying to think of the name of where the Beach Boys are performing.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
on the air. Bo was trying to find something, and when I know that he's trying to find something on his computer, I try to fill space. I try to fill the time. And so I was like, well, I'm going to announce
She
the
tries
concert.
to fill the hole.
And I think that's what happened. So is it the Ballantine amp? What is it?
You call
It
it
is
it's
amp
the bowl.
Ballantine.
It's called the bowl.
I called it the amp hole.
Like ant hole, but amp hole.
So I called it a hole.
And she stopped the room because anytime we hear something borderline, we're like,
Because they're like
Careful.
14
Because anytime words start with A and have the word hole in them, that's great material for the radio.
what's it called? The A?
It's called the amp hole, right?
Hey, Mike Love, we're going to see you at the A-hole. So now that's a good segue into a little behind the scenes of what we were dealing with on the show today. So we've been giving away Beach Boys tickets all week long.
With a contest.
With a contest. And then we got word yesterday, rather urgently, we got an email saying Mike Love, like the Mike Love from the Beach Boys, the founder, lead singer, he would like to do an interview with you guys tomorrow. And I'm not in the business of turning down Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, but I'll tell you,
right.
I was trying to figure out, okay, where are we going to do this and how are we going to make it work? And look, Mike Love is in his 80s.
He's 84, which he told us on the air. So he told us during the interview, he's like, man, I'm 84. So we're not like divulging something that's weird.
No, but
you could also Google it.
Thank you, Jeeves.
That's privileged information. Nobody knew how old Mike Love was till this
This
podcast.
is why we were doing this podcast. But anytime you have somebody like that, okay, so you get the opportunity to speak to one of the original Beach Boys. You're going to do it. But in my mind, when I heard about this yesterday, and we were on the air when we got the pitch for it, I'm thinking, okay, I wonder how this is going to go. I don't know what Mike Love is like in interviews. I don't know how many he does a year. Because when you're doing a live show, we are a certain kind of show. And quite frankly, the reason that I would have any sort of wonder about how it would go is sometimes people don't get it. Sometimes people get on and we're a little too out there. And I was thinking, okay, we're going to talk to Mike Love, but I wonder how this is going to go.
Is that true? Do you think that? Do you think we're a little too out there?
Who was the artist? I forgot again. The
It
female
was
artist.
Jody Messina.
Jody Messina got a little bit off.
Case in point.
About her age, of all things.
About her
And
age.
she's much younger than Mike Love.
Much younger.
Just blurted out he's 84 like it was nobody's big deal to know that.
And then Steve was talking to us about, okay, he may be a couple hours behind us. We didn't know if he was in Charlotte or not. There have been times when you get people on and, we're at 8 o'clock and they're at 5 o'clock. And
And
it's
we've
like,
been
hey,
going
good
strong.
morning. And it's like, hello. And so I'm just preparing, as I've done this for a while, and Szoke has too, and Beth, obviously in the TV world, you just want to be prepared for what you're getting into. We have a lot of fun on the show. The show today definitely had a vibe going on, and I just wondered, okay, is this going to be a speed bump, or is this going to be a continuation with the legend that we're literally giving away tickets for?
And it was fantastic. He was delightful. We had somebody call in and tell us some Beach Boys trivia about how they were drunk when they recorded Barbara Ann in the studio. So I asked him, I was like, where were you? Were you drinking? Did you have a few cocktails? He was like, cocktails? We had stacks of beer. So if you haven't heard the interview, what's today? The 4th? Is today the 4th?
Yes.
Today is June 4th, so you can go back to the
Wednesday.
the Good Morning BT podcast for Wednesday, June 4th, and you can actually hear the interview in its entirety. But he was delightful and seemed very happy to be with us and jovial, and did not remember that we had met.
I don't think anybody else had him on either, because this reminds me of old time radio. We used to talk on the radio before our concerts. It's like, so apparently you guys were the only ones.
But I was actually happy. So here's a little inside baseball. You're sort of, within 30 seconds, whether or not it's somebody who's going to play ball with you or somebody that's going through the motions. And look, somebody like him doesn't have to do interviews. I mean, he's a legend.
He doesn't have to at all.
But he is, and as soon as he said that, hey, you guys are actually doing an old school radio. Let's pump up the show. I thought, okay, he knows what we're doing. And to his credit, we had a great time with him. And look, I can think of times when it didn't go so well. I'm not going to say who it was, but there was an interview that Beth and I did about a month ago, and we basically listened to him talk for 7 minutes.
Oh, is that Jensen? That's a regular. That's a regular segment, isn't it?
That's every Tuesday morning, Jim.
And
We
every night
didn't
at
say
7.
it.
No.
Tom Wopat.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that. We've talked about it on the air before. Like, what are the interviews that you've done over the years that just did not work? Luckily, it wasn't here. It was when I was working at a different radio station that Danny Fontana owned. It doesn't exist anymore, so I can say it. It was WDYT back about 15, 20 years ago, and we had Luke Duke on the show.
Love it.
Tom Wopat, who was
I
in
saw
town.
him in Guys and Dolls on Broadway. He was Sky Masterson.
Yeah, he was in town for some play.
Maybe that's why the interview didn't go so well. Did you start it like that?
Did you?
No, but
Oh, Tom Wopat's here. He's here for some play.
But what I did was what every single other person known to man would do, which would be to bring up the Dukes of Hazzard at some point, and he acted like, oh, nobody wants to talk about that. They would talk. I'm going to talk about the play, but I'm not going to leave out the most important thing that everybody knows you ever did.
It was weird when Mike Love didn't want to talk about the Beach Boys
I
today.
know.
That was
You didn't want to talk about the beat.
He wanted to talk about the Dukes of Hazzard. No.
The weirdest, not the weirdest, but the interview that I had that didn't go the way I wanted it to go, that was when I was working in TV, we were interviewing Adam West, Batman, like the original Batman, which I kind of geeked out a little bit.
I know who he is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But he was also, I think it was like prostate awareness or something that the interview was supposed to be about. So, we're talking about Batman, but then
I'm Batman.
He just comes out like mid-interview and asked me if I had checked my prostate. And I didn't know what to do with that. I was like, well, no.
Was he offering to help, or what was his role?
So I didn't.
And Batman's here.
Robin,
It
here's
was-
the bat prostate selector.
It was one of those.
Quickly to the cave.
He said to Beth, quick, Beth, to the bat cave.
Can I check your bat cave?
This is why they haven't had me on yet. It just, here we
So
go.
anyway, Jim Szoke.
The ample, hey?
So this is what this is like when we're all sitting in the studio. We all are just catching each other's eye. We're laughing and sweating and
Already
crying
sweating. I can't believe this.
most of the morning. And I can't say, I don't know, I can't speak for you guys, but like, it's a pretty fun job. It's a pretty cool job that this is what we get to do.
It is, because, and you guys obviously cover the serious stuff, and that's most days there's half and half of both. But man, when there's an opportunity to have fun, and Bo's great too. He's so gracious with airtime because we've all worked with people who are hosts that are just like monologue guy or whatever. So Bo's so great about not only playing along, but then finding audio clips or songs or something while we're talking and just like dropping him in, like producing the show while he's hosting the show at the same time, which is, I don't know anybody else on the planet who does all that.
And we did that today because someone called in and was talking about how some Burl and Ives song was the... Who was
Burl Ives?
Burl and Ives.
Wait, what was the other? What was the other group?
I don't remember, but it wasn't
Jan
Burl
and Dean?
Ives.
Jan and Dean.
Burl and Ives.
It was the
Jan
captain and
Dean,
Tennille.
which I had never heard of.
It was Dan and Shay.
I had never heard of
From the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special. Silver and
never-
gold.
I'd never heard of Jan and Dean, and somebody called in and said that the Beach Boys were singing on the Burl. What is it? Jan and Dean song.
How did you get Burl and Ives from Jan and Dean?
Are you thinking of Courier and Ives?
Maybe.
Because
Because Burl
They're
Ives is like the
painters.
snowman in the Rudolph movie. He's like the narrator.
oh my
Jan and
goodness.
Dean,
This
Jan
is
and
the
Dean.
same person who yesterday woke up to Ticket to Ride by the Carpenters. so it
by the
actually all
Beatles.
does fit together.
But today we were talking about Jan and Dean and the Beach Boys, and someone said that the Beach Boys were singing on the Jan and Dean song, and then they told us that two Beach Boys, or a Beach Boys song and a Jan and Dean song, were the exact same song. And while we're live on the air, I made another snafu and said that there was a song called Carpetbagger. It wasn't that called that at all. But so Jim and I went down the rabbit hole of carpetbags while Bo was finding, and I knew that he was trying to find the music, so I took one for the team and just kept talking about carpetbags. Which, is that really taking one for the team, or is it?
It's multitasking is what it is.
I love how we work out stuff live on the air, though. Like, we just start talking. If we know half of somebody's name or a movie title or information in general, like, we just kind of help each other out, and sometimes none of us actually know the full answer until someone writes in or calls in.
It's true.
So here's the thing, though. In all seriousness, you either can do that with a group that you're with, or you can't.
And it has everything to do with trust.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've worked with Jim for a long time, and now going on 3 years with Beth, and we've been in that room together, and it's Steve and Bernie too. But we know, like, you know what I'm doing before I do it, or you know when I'm looking for something, you guys sort of bridge that gap. And if you listen back to it on the radio, what I love about it is, I love when people say, how did you guys do that? Because there's no way you could have planned that.
And we don't plan
And
it.
we don't, but we also know how to, and look, Jim has been part of ensemble teams. I mean, I think about all the years working with the various iterations of the Panthers network. You've got to know when your zig time and zag time is. And what we do a lot of times on the air sounds chaotic. I know it does. Sometimes it feels chaotic, but there's always something going on beneath the surface. And I think that's why it works. And when it works, every once in a while you have to be prepared and be okay with something kind of blowing up in your face.
Well, you have to be prepared to be the butt of the joke. You have to be prepared to go with a story that may take a complete sharp left turn. And that's where the trust comes in, because you know that we're not going to, that when we jab at each other and when we make fun of each other, or when you become the butt of the joke, we all know in that room that nothing about any of it is mean-spirited. And I think people hear that because we all trust each other enough to know that there's always a safety net. Because when I say Burl and Ives, y'all are going to tell me
We're just trying to fix it.
Jan and Dean.
Yeah, we're just trying to fix it. And it's funny too, because one of my favorite moments is, like, Beth will say something and she'll look up at the four of us and we're just like, don't have anything to say collectively. And we just sits there dead. So for all this, like, interactions and banter, there's sometimes we're just flat where you'll say something, we're just like, and we're not doing it intentionally, we just really don't know what to say.
if there were closed captioning, it would be like, I don't know. I don't get it. Just go with it.
Closed captioning would be dead space. In parentheses.
Dead silence.
But if closed
Awkward silence in
awkward
brackets.
silence.
But if closed captioning could say what we're thinking, it'd be like, you get it? No, you didn't. I just go with it. We'll see where it goes.
Well, that's why I just
work
now
out.
I've gotten to the point where I just say no, anyone, no, just me, anyone.
Well, we were so Jim, you're the first official guest that we've ever had on the podcast.
Which was obvious by the chair when you came in.
Well, it's funny because I actually thought I was going to be on the Joe Rogan show. So I walked in here and I was pleasantly surprised to see you guys.
Joe Rogan, we are not.
I heard we were doing a podcast. I just assumed it was the Joe Rogan podcast.
I can't get comfortable today.
What do you like?
She doesn't sit. Like, if you
I
try
feel
to
like I
sit,
should bring you like a novel and a blanket or something.
I'm sitting like a person, and Beth's always like this.
Well, I'm gonna like big gigantic.
Well, then I got
pants.
the high chair for like the first 2 minutes.
All right, now I'm good.
Come be part of the show.
Now I'm good.
Come over here.
Well, we were thinking about this the other day. We were talked on the air about how you and I started in the building, and I started working on a show down the hall from a sports show that Jim was doing. I don't know that everybody knows how you two met, because it was not on this show.
It was not on this show. It was on a television show on a random Saturday. I used to host a morning show for WCCB, which was back in the day. It was a Fox affiliate. And at the time, the brand new hit show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, was starting on that network. So our bosses had this brilliant idea to do a local version of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And I was the host. Who hosted? It was Jeff Foxworthy, wasn't it, that did Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yeah.
The real show, yeah.
So the local version, we did like 5 celebrities maybe, that we brought in to be Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And Jim Szoke was one of the celebrities, and that was the day that I met him.
And I was not smarter than the fifth grader.
He wasn't smarter than a fifth grader.
I'm not exaggerating. I think I lost. I'm Pretty sure I lost.
You did.
I feel like this is honest to God truth. His questions were so much easier than mine. Like his were actually 5th grade. Like mine were like 8th grade questions. Like his were definitely easier than mine. And I'll tell you, it sounds like fun and games. So you're sitting there,
Stupid kid.
recording a show. It's gonna be on TV, and knowing I'm losing to a 10-year-old.
Well, but Jim was really fun, but we didn't see each other.
You don't get points for that.
We didn't see each other for 20 years after that,
No,
15
it was just
years
like
after
show
that.
up. She was kind of off to the side hosting it, and I was there with the kid. Got my butt kicked. Walked out. I think my daughter had a soccer game going on. I went over to that or whatever, and then next thing I know, how many years went by? 10.
More
More than 10?
I guess because that was
12,
probably
15 years?
2005, 2006, somewhere in that area,
So
and then
golly, like so
2020.
15 years or something like that.
and then I come in and Jim was like,
I'm like, do
Golly.
you remember? She's like,
"That's exactly how it went." He was like, "Do
You're
you
the one that
remember
sucked."
that
Yes.
that I was on Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader?" And I sat down in the chair and I was like, "Yes, I do remember. You were that bad."
Was I the worst one? Like about the look? No, seriously.
Do you know what's
I feel like I
funny?
was.
Do you know what's funny is I actually don't remember.
I kind of want to be the worst one.
I don't remember anybody else who did it. I don't remember any of the other celebrities.
You were memorable.
Yes.
That's it.
See? It went,
Anybody can win.
And that is a prize in of itself.
And then we became, just starting on the show, as we all have, we just became fast friends. I mean, we all have similar senses of humor. We all have self-deprecating, personalities. And
you continue like today to have children on the show much smarter than I am as an adult.
that's why you left the room, isn't it?
It is because I don't want to be showed up like all the time. I think we've established that. Being
This
part of
was
the show.
Gabe Stein. If you
Stein
have
Day.
not heard him on the show, he makes
Our future
appearances.
president, Gabe Stein.
Yes, he will be. There's no way he's not the president of the United States one day.
He started calling us
When he was
from
16.
the car when he was driving to school, and we would talk about adult subjects, like
Not
things.
adult subjects like.
Yes.
Pump the brakes.
we would
Say anything.
we would talk
A
about
very adult topic with Gabe.
We talked about
complex issues.
things
You know,
that
like
adults would know.
mortgage rates. Things like-
But he would call in, and with hot button issues that you would think that high school students wouldn't care about, and he would call in. And I remember one day I said, "Boy, you sound kind of young," and he's like, "Oh, I'm on my way to school."
16
And,
on his way to school.
And now he's he
19.
kept in touch with us and comes by every now and then. And so I like, I like the fact that we've been around long enough that we sort of have sort of unofficial family members of the show. Like we have the group that's in there every day, but we also have sort of the extended family, like people like Thurston Howell and, even H.A. Thompson, if you want to go to the other end of the age spectrum. He's 91. I just got confirmation last night that he's going to join us at the beach, which, by the way, it's a good time to remind people, we're going to do this at the beach this year.
So just a few weeks, I guess 3 weeks from today, 3 weeks from tomorrow, we'll be doing our beach podcast. So the entire crew will be part of the podcast. You'll get to see everybody.
And your dad's going to be on it.
And my dad has a mullet now, guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the whole thing's going to work just
Sure,
yet.
if I was allowed to say that.
But I think the biggest thing is that there has to be video simply because we know that the Waniac's rocking the mullet nowadays. And
Yeah.
we're going to have that on camera.
Yeah. He's
We'll
a.
just use your new iPhone. Did you get a new phone?
I did. I
We
got
can
a
just
new
record
phone.
the whole thing.
No,
on
it's
your
all the
iPhone.
way over here.
Yeah,
Beth,
it's on the floor.
Beth, like a professional, Beth left her phone way off camera.
Right.
Bo Thompson.
As you should.
Bo Thompson.
You guys talk for a second. I got to go get some.
See you later. We all keep coming and going during the show. Do
Oh, he really is going somewhere. He's probably like going to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the
you think he'll come
the
back?
cantina. I don't know.
Did we make him mad? Sometimes we'll go to break and Bo will just walk out. And I go, did we make him mad?
He'll get awfully quiet.
This is an unopened box.
What?
We have our first mail
For
been delivered
for the 17th segment?
Well, I mean, might as well be because we're doing
This
it.
didn't work out well in 7. Just
wait.
It says shipped to Bo and Beth.
Oh.
Return address says Shab on it.
Oh, she's also one of the
Bo,
guests
do we
we've had
need
on the show.
do we need my my Mary Poppins kit, as Beth
have
likes
it?
to refer to it? Yeah,
Oh,
hang
it's
on.
like
So Steve,
got car- Army knife
I've
over
got
there.
car keys.
Steve
use my car
has
keys, but-
everything in his pocket. I don't know how he doesn't look like a
this
giant. I don't know how you don't look like you're wearing like pantaloons because like you know the big
Pantaloons.
like the big puffy thigh pantaloons.
MC Hammer pants.
Yeah, because he has so
Is
many
that a
things in his
pantaloon?
pocket.
Didn't she already send you guys gifts on the show previously?
Shab is she's from Iran
Oh,
originally.
you're so strong.
She's a singer who was on our show about a month ago, maybe
You
a
know
little
what?
more than that.
The knife would have been really good for that, Bo.
Yep.
And so Bo is struggling with the. So this is what we do. We try to fill time. But she was on our show to promote her album, and she was lovely.
Sorry, Jim. I didn't know this was going to be as lavish.
They were
Let's clarify.
lovely.
These are not human heads, are they?
Oh, what's in the box?
What's in the box? This works better for the video component of your
Yes,
podcast.
if you were just listening to this, we're opening these.
It's incentive now if you're listening to also watch.
It's her album. Oh
my
Guys,
goodness.
we're the first ones, and it's
Her album dropped,
and it's,
as the kids say.
It's a record. It's an actual what are these called? LP. It's actually a record.
It is a 12-inch vinyl record.
And I have a vinyl, thank you. And I have a record player thanks to Bernie Bowles, who
Since
gave me
I
a record player
have
for
so much
Christmas.
trouble opening boxes, I'm just going to assume mine has the same thing yours has.
I doubt it because I have makeup.
Oh, well,
There's
then I'll put the
a-
microphone
You got
I don't
down.
know. I
have-
wouldn't just assume Bo's doesn't have makeup in it.
I have a Schaub makeup bag. I have some lipstick that is a Schaub brand.
Bill got hunting knives.
I have shirts. Oh my gosh, she is the most delightful human, and she born in Iran, moved here without knowing any English when
Here's your
she
letter.
was like 13.
It's a long letter.
She wrote a long letter. She is
Oh, is that
just
alcohol?
so full of hope and
Bill got,
love
like,
and
champagne.
kindness.
Some t-shirts and something I just dropped. And well, Schaub. Well, that's pretty cool.
Thank you, Schaub.
Nice.
So
I wasn't expected to open things during the podcast.
Now you're
I
stuck
know.
holding it.
Well, we're unpredictable.
Where do we put this, Bo?
I'm just going to cover up Jim.
Thanks
gonna
for,
come
thanks
down
for having
here.
me, guys.
All right, there we go. Is that that's out of the way.
That was
Steve?
risky
yeah, for the
opening
most part.
a gift live on the air. You never know.
Yeah,
Well,
that is risky.
Look,
but
truth be told, I was walking down here on my way, and I saw the guy in the hall who works up front, and he said, "Hey, you have two large packages, one for you and one for Beth."
Hey-o.
wow. Bo.
Careful over there.
Yeah.
So,
was that
anyway.
a humble brag?
I went to get the packages, and I said, "Hey, I'll just bring them down here because I knew it was from Schaub."
And this is what happens in the commercial breaks.
Yep.
Wow. Wow, we do go off the rails. I was earlier saying that you guys were like 14-year-old boys, and then I was the one that said awful things just now.
That's really funny that you think we have rails.
That there are any kinds of guardrails. Jim,
Hey, how's you guys' show going?
Well,
Are we
what-
doing it right? Is this the way we do it?
what is your
we haven't
It's only your
started
third
yet.
show, right? Are we doing the show
We're waiting
right?
for Steve to tell us it's time to start.
what's your favorite moment from the show?
I'm
What's
sorry.
your favorite thing about me?
Was I supposed to be rolling on this whole thing?
What's your favorite thing about me? What's your favorite moment from the show?
Oh my God, a favorite moment?
where it probably didn't end up on the air, but we were absolutely rolling.
Well, you know,
in the studio.
I'm sure I have 1,000. I'm just like not thinking of it right now, but I think the most memorable one, as we say, where they're not all winners, but memorable, was me almost dying on the air, choking the segment where you were teaching us how to be Southern by putting peanuts in Coke.
In your Coke.
And
And
Bo runs down to the break room over there, and they don't have peanuts; they have cashews, which are much larger than peanuts. And so we substituted, or I did it anyway, cashews into my Coke, which I had never done this before. And as I drank it, I didn't chew the cashews at all. It just went right down. I had like 3 cashews lodged in my throat. And they're doing the show and laughing and talking, and I can't breathe. And I'm dying, and I'm
was
coughing. And
Choking.
the rest of the morning show, like I scratched my throat on cashews. And I think I wasn't right for about a week after that.
Yeah, and I did feel responsible. Although I didn't know
You
that
didn't recommend cashews.
I did not recommend cashews, and I did not know that I needed to tell you to chew them.
And what usually happens when this kind of thing is going on is I just kind of go on. And next, let's go check traffic. Like I don't care about anything.
Yeah, because
I gave myself a Heimlich on my chair. It was just like that was like the first time I'd almost died live while doing a segment.
live on the on
Wouldn't
the
call
air.
it say my favorite, which was
It's not your
question,
favorite, no.
But
Do you
it's
have?
funny. I'm like a goldfish though. We do so many segments that are funny. If you played them back, I would give me 2 words. I would remember them, but it's just I don't remember. There's so many.
Do you have a favorite moment, Bo?
About
that
Beth?
where
I'm still waiting for it to happen.
She's got nice hair. Oh,
I'm just kidding. I mean, one of my favorite moments ever we actually replayed on the show today is when Beth was talking about entering the show information into ChatGPT.
ChatGPT had just come out, and so I was like, "Oh, we could get it to write a little bio page for the show. We'll see what it says."
Well, and so here's the inside part of this that we don't talk about as much on the air. So when you started talking about that, we thought it was funny, the Beth Troutman show and all this funny stuff.
ChatGPT did not put Bo into the bio page, even though I put write us a bio for Good Morning BT with Bo Thompson and Beth Troutman, and it spit out a whole thing about the Beth Troutman show.
So while we were doing this, the wheels started turning with me, and I thought, okay, boy, wouldn't it be really funny to try to. Now, if you listen to the station and you hear, promos for the show and you hear the top of the hour ID, anytime you hear the big bombastic billboard stuff, we call it, we have a voice guy, which most TV stations and radio stations have. He actually is in Arizona. So anytime you have him read something, when it comes back from the break and it says, "This is WBT with Bo and Beth," that's recorded in
Arizona
ahead of time. And a lot of times you have to have some lead time on that kind of thing. Because I write some of it and put it together that you hear. But in other words, what I'm getting at is it takes a little time to put that kind of thing together. But the wheels started turning in my head that, wow, what if he's up right now? I wonder if I texted in some Beth Troutman show stuff, if he would send it back to me. And miraculously, he did during the show. And so by the end of the show, we played billboards, as we call them in the business, and rejoins of the Beth Troutman show. And he played along with it because I said, didn't say something like, who's Bo Thompson? Like, who is he?
Yeah.
And his name is Scott. Great guy, played right along with it. And we were able to sort of throw that all together by, in real time almost, which is what made the whole thing work. I said earlier, sometimes things like that blow up in your face, but I trust these two and the people in the room enough that I'm willing to go for it.
And we didn't know that he was doing any of this. We didn't know that
while he's hosting a live
because
show,
that would ruin it, right? I mean, it wouldn't be the surprise that it was. Now, I've been doing this for 13 years or behind the scenes stuff, almost 30. I've always wanted to be a part of a team where you're not afraid to go for it. They understand that sometimes it doesn't always work out, but you're not gonna hit the high post unless you try, right? But you got to have a team that you're working with that you feel comfortable enough with to go for it. And I could sit here and talk about days where it didn't work, and maybe someday we'll do a podcast about that. But that was one of those days when you say, what's one of your most memorable moments? I mean, we have plenty of them. The first time we did the show from your dad's balcony was one.
Yeah. For so many reasons.
On and off the air.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Hall of Fame announcement day.
Oh,
That is actually one of
That is
my
the funniest, craziest. This is like something like you dream, like nightmare/dream.
It was one of my favorite days before I was full-time on the show, but Bo called and said, "I really want you to be here on this day." So I was oddly sitting in the corner, kind of not on the air at all, but sitting in the corner to watch everything take place. And Jim was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame and had no idea.
It was the announcement. So Bo wanted to surprise me live on the air. And so I think HA was there that day. John Stokes came in and Hancock.
That's right.
And so I bring them all in. So it's the 9 to 10 hour. And I'm usually done at the 9 o'clock hours when they have a guest or do something different. And I actually was doing a weekly ACC show I've been doing for like 12 years. And I do that at 9:30. So at 9, I walk them in and bring them in. And Bo, I think, assumes I'm just sticking around. But I know in my head is Wednesday. I have to leave because I have to go record the show at 9:30. And they can't find me. And Bo's having all these people on, and he's announcing Bob Lacey's going to be in the Hall of Fame. John Stokes will be in the Hall of Fame. And he's saving me for last. And Ed Billick is calling me, and Bo is texting me, and Sandra's there. So they bring in, without me knowing, Sandra, my wife, is there, my aunt and uncle, my son Andy, and some others. And Sandra's like, "Where are you?" I go, "I have to do my show." She goes, "Get here right now."
So I had done everything. I'd crossed every T and dotted every I, except convince Jim that he needed to stay. But I mean, you don't understand the legwork that had to go into this, because I had to get with Sandra and make sure all your family was there. I had to produce this piece, which was, it was like a 8-minute long retrospective on this guy's life.
I mean, and it was a great, highly produced thing.
And so
all these voices, all these sound bites, music, all of it.
But the one thing that I didn't do was, and I was trying to play it off kind of like nonchalantly. Hey, Jim, you gonna be around in the 9 o'clock hour? And yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I didn't want to act like, hey, Jim, please stay. I want you to be here, but I can't tell you why.
Just to see I'm not thinking I'm going to the Hall of Fame, obviously. So I'm just saying I brought everybody in that was the special guest as far as I knew. So I'd already said my hellos to everybody. So I'd done my thing, said hi to the 3 of them. I got to go do a show. I don't stick around. I'm in my car. I'm driving back, and it's Charlotte. And it's 77. And I'm listening to this great montage that Bo's put together as a listener would in the car. So I'm half enjoying it. Like, this is great. I go, I'm late. I'm trying to get back there to be live in the studio with everybody. And I walk in. It's like the last minute of the hour, because God forbid we go over a minute into the newscast, but we didn't. And I got in there just in time to come down the hallway. I'm talking to Bo on the phone, on the air.
On the phone.
As we did like before this podcast, which was a great reenactment, as me walking down the hall. And then I don't know my family's going to be there as I turn the corner. So I have to blow by them because the show's about to end, to go pop in the studio and go, thank you.
And then that was the end.
That's great.
Wow. He's finishing a marathon. So I will say,
It was so good.
that the 100th anniversary celebration
with the door that day, I think.
And at the first day I ever met his wife, and she knocked me over with the door.
Flung the door up and hit her.
But my favorite part of that is how Jim tells it, where Sandra's like, where are you? He goes, oh, I'm in the car. Get here now.
Yeah. So I kind of figured it out when she said I have to get back there right away. I'd be honest, I had no idea. I guess I should have been thinking that way. I was not thinking that way at all.
But it's because you're so humble. And I think that that's probably one of the coolest qualities about you. You are so successful as a broadcaster on so many different levels, whether it be the Panthers, whether it be ECU, whether it be our show. And to you, it never occurred to you that you would be going into the Hall of Fame. And I think that
I thought my role is to walk the Hall of Famers into the studio to come be on the show with
and
you.
I think that says everything about you. And it's, again, why this show
I went down. I got
works.
Gabe Stein today. It's just what I do. I just walk down the hall and bring the guest in.
You did bring him in.
I do have to say that at the 100th anniversary event, when we brought each of you all on stage, we replayed those montages. And I remember thinking to myself, this is the first time Jim's heard this whole thing.
Yeah, where I can actually pay attention. It was very good, Bo, by the way. If I haven't said it in the last 3 years, it was very good.
In the end, it all was right, but that was like the circle.
It kind of made it more fun.
Broken,
and it wasn't like I missed my induction. It was just the announcement of it. We showed up plenty in time for the 6-hour marathon event that we did that night.
It's the perfect
It was a 4-hour
story.
event, wasn't it?
It was 4 hours.
It ended at 11:10 p.m.
That's right.
I didn't know it when I was on the stage. I wish I had, but then somebody pointed it out to me after it was over. So you know what? And the one thing that I've heard from people since then, and the people in the room said that they felt like even though it was long, none of the time was wasted. And that's all. I mean, look, trying to fit 100 years into 3 hours was hard enough, but all was well in the end. But that story on the air that day was, we'll never forget that.
That was my first week of officially being an employee of the. Or I think like my first 3 days or something.
I was laughing. You cherry picking 100 years, like, hey, I've been here since Tuesday.
You actually said something like that in your speech.
Yeah. And Beth, who's here, and she's been here since Tuesday morning.
When everybody else had this like rich history with the station, and then
what was your favorite day?
My favorite day was actually Wednesday, Jim.
You guys worked for months on that. That was, the whole night was great with all the clients and family and all that stuff. But that was great. And I think that this is maybe my favorite segment. I thought about it as you were talking. Was the guy? I'll let you guys tell the story. I'll just tell the punchline. The guy with the sons.
Oh,
because we were all
gosh.
duped live on the air, and he wasn't really trying to dupe us, but we were just that dupable.
No, and if you play this back, this is like, I think probably my first year on the show at some point, and we were talking about these newfangled, handy-dandy, self-propelled lawnmowers that were AI operated or robots, and I'm scared of robots, and so we started asking people about, are you so lazy that you don't mow your own lawn? Or anyway, we were taking calls, and people were talking about mowing their lawns, and this guy calls in, and he was like, well, I'm an engineer and I have developed my own lawn mowing system. And he gives the acronym, and it's like the sunny ongoing natural shredder or something. And I was like, oh, it's Suns.
The best part is the way you said it. She's like, oh, wow.
Suns.
You're amazing.
And I even said that the acronym spelled the word Suns. And I was like, wow, you're a cool engineer, man. And you're so smart. I want you to build me a lawnmower. And like went into this whole.
Do you have a website?
And then it's even better listening. Like we did a whole segment listening back to the segment because we're marveling at how much we didn't get of it. And at the very end, the guy is like, it's going well past he thought it would.
He had to call back.
But if you've listened to the original thing, he just kind of gets quiet and then he goes, okay, bye.
We never figured it out. If he had not called back, we would have thought till this day that was the segment.
We would have thought to this day that there was this engineer in Charlotte that had created his own robot lawnmower, and he had to call back and say, so when I said the acronym was SONS, like it's my sons. I made my sons, and they mow the lawn for me now. So his actual physical sons.
We're all like that detective at the end of Usual Suspects dropping the coffee mug. Kaiser Sose. Because we remembered all the things he'd said along the way. It was right there the whole time, Sons.
And we lost it when we realized how ridiculous we were that we didn't know. And then when we listened to it back and we heard how ridiculous we actually
were. How obvious it was.
It was like
so
Mystery
obvious.
Science Theater 3000. It was like watching yourselves going, how did they not get this?
And he felt bad. Like he called
And
in thinking we would get the
minutes
gag,
ago.
and we didn't.
Well, and the fact that I even said, oh, sons, and then still it didn't clue in that he was actually talking about his children. His children mow his lawn for him. And we thought that he was this like brilliant person, which I'm sure now, I wonder if he still listens. I think his name was like Dan or Doug or.
He was a father.
Let's
we
go
know
all
that.
the D names.
But I wonder
Dimitri. I think it was Dimitri.
if he listens and if he still thinks like
Darius.
those are three of the dumbest people.
Oh, we were.
And
I think he just didn't have the heart to tell us live in front of everyone else. Like it was a joke.
Like that's the thing. You wonder how much of Charlotte got the joke. Like how many
Right.
people were going, you don't hear what he's saying? We're like, yeah.
There's so many layers to it.
Thank
That's
you
what's
for
so funny
calling.
about it.
And I wonder if people were beating on their steering wheels going, oh my God, how dumb
And
are you?
This is the morning news team informing the city of all the news events. How can we trust
Nothing
them?
gets past
How
them.
can we trust them now?
That was a really, really fun day though. Once we realized it. And again,
I don't think we stopped laughing.
we were still laughing about it. We're still laughing about it.
We are. And quite frankly, I think all three of us have been doing this long enough. And Steve over in the corner has been in radio for a long time. Like we've been through times where you don't laugh much.
And we've all had co-hosts that the chemistry just wasn't quite there, or they just didn't get your sense of humor.
Or they didn't want chemistry.
Or they didn't want chemistry.
I don't want your chemistry.
And for whatever reason, when this team of people came together, and I don't know how these things work in life. I mean, I know that we were all hired. Like, I know how it actually works. But how we end up here.
We're the island of misfit toys.
Right.
It all comes back to Burl Ives.
But how did we come?
Jim wants to be a dentist.
I don't want to make toys. I want to be a dentist.
But think about there's like 8 billion people on the planet, and we all ended up together. There's something really
And we're the only three
magical.
people who couldn't figure out sons out of the 8 billion.
But like I was saying, we have been around the block enough times to know and to appreciate what this is, because we've been in situations where it wasn't like this. Now, Jim's lucky enough that you've been in some situations in different places where you have had, I mean, I think about the Panthers broadcast teams. It's a different kind of thing, but I also kind of think, well, Jim knows what good chemistry is, so he knows it when he sees it. And now we've got it in a different way now. But, it's fun to get up in the morning and look forward to coming to work.
Holy moly. I mean, and no matter what kind of mood you wake up in, you know that as soon as you get into the studio, you're going to be in a good mood, because something is going to happen, whether it be on the air or off the air or kind of a combination of both, where we double over with laughter. And they say like laughter makes you live longer and it releases endorphins. We're all going to live until we're like 140, if that's the case.
And none of us, I mean, I think I speak for everybody in the room, none of us want to be on a morning zoo show.
No.
There are days when we have to wake up and talk about things that aren't fun to talk about. But the good thing is I know that on any given day, all these different things to talk about, we do a show where you at least can take it all in and also sort of exhale and go about your day and start on a positive note. And I think
hopefully make other people feel that there's so much to be hopeful for and happy about. And my goal has always been to have that impact on people so that they then have that impact on the people in their lives. So it's kind of like a pay it forward ripple effect is the goal. In my brain, that may be completely different for you guys.
I was driving along or running along, whatever I was doing the other day, and I had a thought. And sometimes I think you don't take moments in life to stop and say, okay, let's remember this moment right now, because this may be a time that you look back on someday and say, those were the good old days. And again, understanding that all three of us have worked with some incredible people in our career and have some other points in our career that we can look back with pride. I do think that if you look at this show right now, you got Beth and me 3 years in a place where we're, working together as a really cohesive team. You've got Jim Szoke, who has all this experience, WBT sports director. You have Boomer doing traffic, who is a legend in this market. You have Mark Garrison, who is our news director and has been, you think about, coming forward with all guns ablazing here, you got Steve Anthony and Bernie Bowles. I can't imagine a team that I'm ever going to have that's going to be this formidable, and to work together to boot is a pretty cool thing. So every once in a while, I just kind of sit back and go, a lot of people don't get to work with a team like this.
Yeah, and it's magic in a bottle. It's lightning in a bottle that you can't fake it. You can't. People try for years and years to create this kind of chemistry and this kind of relationship, and some people are not ever lucky enough to find their team and to find their co-host. They work with teams and they work with co-hosts, but it's a feeling when you are with the right people. It's like a zipper zipping right up.
Wait, what?
Like on your pants.
Next week's broadcast will be from the Ballantine Hole.
Got 2 packages upstairs for you.
The teeth. Like the teeth come together. No. Does that make any sense?
Yep. No, it kind of does.
SONS.
It's sons. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's like a basketball team, though. How about that? You got shooters, you got rebounders, you got defenders. Like everyone kind of contributes, or it could be a zipper.
I was going to say, what you're saying is the zipper was not the right analogy. This is like a metaphor for our show. It's a zipper. It holds the package in place.
Be careful when you zip that up, son. All right. I don't have no clue where else to go after that. Are we going to put a...
It's my first time on the show, so I'm not sure how it's supposed to end. Or
I think that's it.
Was that pretty good?
I think that's how we end.
Wait, so is the name of this one going to be called The Zipper? Like the toe?
Either that or Beth's famous words. I think that's it.
Let's zip on out of here.
Listen to Good Morning BT with Bo Thompson and Beth Troutman. Live, weekdays 6 to 10 on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.